On January 24th, 1848, at this very spot on the South Fork of the American River in the Mexican province of Alta California, carpenter and millwright James Marshall looked down in the river near the sawmill he was building for John Sutter. And something shiny caught his eye: gold in the American River. A few days later, February 2nd, 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed, officially ending the Mexican-American War and ceding California to the United States. Back east in 1848, Sam Colt was perfecting his line of small pocket revolvers in Hartford, Connecticut, a classic case of when the planets align.
Hey, thanks, Spencer.
Now we'll take a walk through Coloma over to the Pioneer Cemetery. Along the road sits this random cannon. According to local historians, this gun was abandoned by Napoleon in 1812 upon his retreat from Moscow. It was then taken by the Russians to Siberia, and then Vladivostok, Sitka, and then Fort Ross in California. When the Russians pulled out of Fort Ross, it was bought lock, stock, and barrel by John Sutter to arm his new fort on the Sacramento. When a perfect site for Sutter's sawmill was found, there was a problem. He did not own the land, and it was already occupied by a band of mountain Nisenan. Sutter had the gun brought to Coloma. Nothing guarantees a favorable outcome to your negotiations for access to the site than a cannon a few hundred yards from your village. So this is Frank Burkhardt's gun shop, considered the oldest original structure in Coloma. Constructed in 1852. When Frank arrived in Coloma in 1849, he carried with him 200 Patterson Colt revolvers and 200 Allen pepperbox revolvers consigned to him by the gun dealer spies of New York. Although he had considerable success gold mining, he decided mining was not for him and remained in the gunsmithing business the rest of his life, opening a gun shop in San Francisco in 1865 until he retired in 1890. He passed away in 1903. This is what remains of the El Dorado County Jail. It was constructed in 1856. Originally a two-story structure, it had 8 cells and could house 16 prisoners. From this jail, 2 murderers were marched across the road to the cemetery. The condemned were handed down an old-time California suspended sentence and strung up before a crowd of 5,000 men, women, and children. In 1855, there was no Amazon or Netflix, so entertainment was a little harder to come by then. But there's nothing like a double hanging to bring a community together. A brass band was brought in to complete the festivities. Mickey Free was a career criminal and what we'd call today a serial killer. Schoolmaster Jeremiah Crane admitted shooting his young student, Susan Needham, in the head at point-blank range with a Colt revolver because he loved her. Poor Susan remained conscious for 5 days after being shot before she died. In 1850, the U.S. Senate had a meeting on the merits of Colt revolvers for government service. They reached out to California Senator William Gwin for his opinion of the use of the Colts out west. He responded, "Colts repeating pistols are preferred in California over any other kind of arms. In fact, There is no part of the Union where they are more highly esteemed. Every man in that country would have one if he could get it. The Indians in the gorges of the Sierra Nevada are terrified into honest habits by the miners of the region armed with these small pistols. Gwyn seems to be somewhat of a character, fighting a political duel in which only a nearby donkey was killed, and arrested for treason during the American Civil War and briefly jailed as a Confederate sympathizer. Okay, let's have a look at this Colt pocket revolver. So what we have here is what collectors call a Colt 1849 pocket. 31 caliber, 5-shot, with the less common 6-inch barrel. According to Norm Flaterman, there's over 200 known variants of this model. The pocket model was the bread and butter of Colt percussion revolvers, outselling all other models in war and in peace. Depending on the source, 325 to 340,000 were produced in Hartford and another 11,000 in London. Oh, there's no finish remaining except for some silver plating on the trigger guard. The cylinder looks good. The cones are clear and appear in good shape, but the safety pins are worn down. Nice and sharp stagecoach hold-up seam. All matching serial numbers indicating manufacture in 1853. And pretty nice rifling and nice sharp Colt markings. I ordered some 31 baby Dragoon conicals that measured right at .330 at the widest point. I slugged the bore and it came out .329 in the grooves, and it weighed in at 80 grains. The 31 conical ball next to the 44. I loaded her up with 12 grains of 3F Schutzen. The heel of the bullet dropped right in, but I had to use more force than I liked to seat the bullet. I had to resort to using my slick hand cheater bar. I capped it up with number 10 CCIs, and we'll take our first shots at 25 yards. Most of the bullets sailed right over the backstop, and the ones that did hit did not group well. Luckily, there was no stray donkey standing nearby. But up close, worked pretty well.